Thank you very much, Speaker. My question this morning is to the Premier. Premier, last week I rose to question why your Chief of Staff, Mr. Tom Teahan, failed to appear on the seconded list despite his annual salary for 2013 of over $344,000. Premier, today your Chief of Staff is in the news once again, this time joining 6 other Liberal entities in allegedly violating the Elections Finances Act, Section 29, which states clearly that no political party, constituency association or candidate shall directly or indirectly accept contributions from any person residing outside of Ontario. Yep. Premier, of course I'm referring to the 7 donations totaling nearly $11,000 made by Mr. James Barry, a resident of Quebec and the union boss for your friends, Quebec, the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. Premier, will you direct your Chief of Staff to immediately return the nearly $1,000 that was illegally donated to his own Liberal campaign in Beaches, East York?
Be seated, please. Thank you, Premier.
Much, Mr. Speaker, and I know that the Minister of Training, Colleges and Universities has something to add to this, but I just want to make sure that the rules around political donations are really important, Mr. Speaker. They're a very important part of our democratic process. Today's article was the first that I'd heard of the question raised by the member from Stormont Dundas, South Glengarry. It's my understanding, Mr. Speaker, that Elections Ontario has been asked to look into questions about particular donations. I understand that the individual in question has he said that.
Excuse me. Even when I eyed him and he continued, I will ask the member from Bruce Grey, Owen Sound, to come to order. This will be his last chance.
I understand that the individual involved has said that there's been a clerical error that has been made, Mr. Speaker, but we'll work with Elections Ontario, of course, if they have any questions, Mr. Speaker. We will absolutely work with Elections Ontario.
Thank you. Supplementary.
Well, Mr. Speaker, back to the Premier. Premier, in 2009, you were Minister of Community Safety and Correctional Services, and the past President of the Ontario Liberal Party accepted allegedly illegal donations from Mr. Barry, and even worse, the Liberal Party of Ontario accepted $5,400 in illegal donations as well. But Premier, that's not all. To reward Mr. Barry, your government appointed him to the Board of Governors for the Ontario College of Trade. Premier, will you demand that all money donated from Mr. Barry be returned, including any illegal donations accepted by your Chief of Staff and your Minister for Community Safety and Correctional Services, and will you take the necessary steps to remove Quebec resident Mr. Barry from the Board of Governors of the Ontario College of Trades?
Be seated, please. Be seated, please. Thank you.
Minister of Training, Colleges and Universities.
The incorrect information in the member's question is just unbelievable. I mean, Mr. Speaker, these guys will stoop.
Finish, please.
Mr. Speaker, a complaint was made to Elections Ontario. Elections Ontario are looking into it. The allegation appears to be that there was a clerical error made. I'm sure whatever was done will be corrected. But, Mr. Speaker, here we go again. We have James Barry, who's the president of the IBEW. He represents 14,000 electrical workers across this province. When you smear that gentleman's reputation, Mr. Speaker, you smear the reputation.
The member from Simcoe North is warned.
Mr. Speaker, nothing's more important to people than their reputation. Now, we're in a business where we're used to those kind of smears coming at us. I don't think it's fair for people outside of this chamber to be.
Thank you. Time's up. New question. The member from Trinity Spadina.
My question is to the Premier. After wasting a year dithering on transit, the